What if I told you there's a place in our solar system where days could literally fry you alive, and nights could freeze even the toughest metals solid? A world so close to the sun that just by looking up, you'd feel as if you were facing a cosmic furnace. That place exists. It's called Mercury. But the real question is, what would it be like to live there? Could we ever transform such an extreme planet into a home? Get ready, because what you're about to discover about Mercury might completely change the way you see space, and even Earth itself.
Number 1. Mercury in perspective. Before we imagine cities, routines, and futuristic technology, we need to understand the stage of this adventure. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, a small world, even smaller than some moons in our solar system, yet home to conditions that challenge even the wildest scientific imagination. It orbits only 58 million kilometers from the Sun, while Earth is about 150 million away. That means sunlight hits Mercury with brutal intensity. If summer heat feels unbearable here on Earth, on Mercury it would be multiplied many times over. But strangely enough, despite being so close to the Sun, Mercury doesn't have a thick atmosphere to hold in the heat. The result? Extremes. On one side, temperatures soar beyond 430 degrees Celsius or 800 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. On the other, they plunge to minus 180 degrees Celsius or minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit at night. It's like living in an oven by day and a deep freezer by night. Now imagine trying to build a life between those two extremes. That's the challenge we're about to explore.
Number 2. The extreme climate. To understand what it would be like to live on Mercury, we have to talk about its weather. Or rather, the lack of it. Mercury doesn't really have a climate as we know it. The planet's atmosphere is almost non-existent, just a thin layer of particles called an exosphere. That means no wind, no clouds, no rain. But it also means nothing to block or trap the sun's heat. During the day, the heat is so intense that ordinary equipment would melt. But when night falls, the cold is so deep it would freeze metals solid. Living on Mercury would be a constant battle against heat and cold. Cities would need to be climate fortresses, structures capable of isolating inhabitants from the blistering daytime heat and then shielding them from the freezing night just hours later. Number 3. The question of time. One of the strangest things about Mercury is its relationship with time. Did you know that one Mercury day, the time it takes to rotate once on its axis, lasts nearly 59 Earth days? But that's not all. Because of how it orbits the Sun, the time between one sunrise and the next on Mercury is 176 Earth days. In other words, if you lived there, you'd watch the sun slowly crawl across the sky for almost half an Earth year before it finally set again. Imagine trying to build a daily routine like that. Almost 3 months of scorching daylight and another 3 months of endless freezing darkness. Our clocks, habits, and entire concept of time would need to be reinvented. Maybe Mercury society would divide life not into days and nights, but into solar phases based on the sun's position in the sky. Schools, work shifts, and even recreation would all depend on where the sun stood in the sky. Number 4. Building cities on Mercury. Now comes the fascinating part. How would we build cities there? To survive, humans would need to settle in specific regions, especially near Mercury's poles. That's because there are craters near the poles that never receive direct sunlight. Inside some of those craters, scientists believe there may even be preserved ice. Those areas would be ideal for colonies. The cities would likely be underground or semi-underground, protected by layers of rock and metal. On the surface, only a few structures would stand, mainly giant solar panels collecting the planet's intense sunlight. Picture a Mercury city as a mix between a futuristic solar outpost and a subterranean hive. From above, it would look like a discrete base perfectly adapted to a hostile world. But below the surface, vast corridors, living spaces, farms, and recreation areas would stretch deep underground in massive pressurized caverns. Number 5. Essential survival technologies. To live on Mercury, we need the best of human technology. The most important source of energy? Solar power. Mercury receives about 6 times more solar energy than Earth.
That means solar panels would work with incredible efficiency. Colonies could have almost limitless energy as long as they could protect their systems from the intense heat. The next challenge would be thermal control. Buildings would need advanced insulation systems to maintain a stable indoor temperature no matter what happens outside. Then there's water and food. Water could come from the ice at the poles or be produced through chemical reactions. Food would grow in hydroponic farms, cultivated inside temperature-controlled caverns. Transport would also be quite unique. On the surface, heavily shielded vehicles, resistant to heat and radiation, would handle exploration. But most daily life would take place underground, connected by tunnels and pressurized passageways.
Number 6. Daily life on Mercury. Now close your eyes and imagine waking up on Mercury. You'd live in a climate-controlled habitat without windows to the outside world, but with high-definition screens showing the planet's eerie landscape, the gray horizon, the massive sun dominating the sky. Your routine would follow artificial day and night cycles, since the planet's natural one would be impossible to live by. Jobs would likely focus on maintaining the colony, growing food, or mining, because Mercury is extremely rich in metals like iron and nickel. The culture of Mercury's inhabitants would be unlike anything on Earth. Communities would be small, tightly connected, and built entirely on cooperation. Every mistake could endanger the entire colony. But there would also be beauty. Living on Mercury means having the most spectacular view of the sun in the entire solar system, appearing almost 3 times larger than it does from Earth. And during Mercury's long night, the stars would shine brighter than you could ever imagine.
Number 7. Constant dangers. Of course, not everything would be poetic. Living on Mercury means facing danger every single day. Solar radiation would be one of the biggest threats. Without a thick atmosphere, there's no natural protection against the sun's charged particles. Only technology could keep colonists safe. Then there are meteor impacts. Being so close to the sun, Mercury constantly attracts asteroids and comets passing through its orbit. With no atmosphere to burn them up, they crash directly onto the surface. And finally, the temperature extremes. A single failure in the insulation system could turn deadly within minutes.
Number 8. Why risk living on Mercury? You might be wondering, why would anyone want to live on Mercury? The answer could be summed up in 3 words: science, resources, and energy. 1. Science. Studying the closest planet to the sun would teach us invaluable lessons about our solar system. 2. Resources. Mercury is full of metals like iron, nickel, and rare elements that could power an interplanetary economy. And 3. Energy. With so much sunlight, Mercury could become the power station of the solar system, exporting energy to other colonies. In short, living on Mercury would be tough, but also strategic. It would be humanity's forward base in our expansion across the stars. Now that you know what life on Mercury would be like, the infernal days, freezing nights, underground cities, and mind-blowing technology, here's the question: would you dare to live there? Life on Mercury wouldn't be for everyone, but maybe that's what makes it so fascinating. After all, human history has always been about defying the impossible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and comment below. Would you have the courage to live on Mercury? I've prepared a special video for you to watch next, and trust me, it's going to blow your mind.